Okay, so far we discussed about the basics, the fundamentals or the foundations of the Python. Okay, so today we will continue with the data visualization part. What is data visualization? Can someone tell me? Visualizing the data. Yes, you are correct. Raji is correct. Visualizing the data. Visualizing the data in what form? Tabular form or how? Yes, visualizing the data in charts. That is called data visualization. So what is so big deal about it? So you have millions of records are there in the data set. You have a structured data, unstructured data. For example, you have text data is available. It's unstructured data. You want to find out some pattern. If you want to understand, so if you want to understand any pattern or something in a text data, especially in the case of pattern recognition, even when you do right with the 1 second, let me just check. I think so. Yeah, the pattern recognition and all, you can do it with the unstructured data like text. The idea of data visualization is to simplify the complex data sets to better understand at a glance. Okay. So with the help of plotting the data in charts, especially when you represent the data in graphical format, it provides an accessible way to see and understand trends, outliers, and patterns in data. Trends, outliers, and patterns in data. So, what do you mean by trend? Can someone tell me? Give me some example for trend. What is a trend? So you are, let's say, you are doing some business. So what do you mean? What kind of trends that you see it? Let's say you are in a cloth business, or you are into some kind of let's say you are into food, F&B, right? Food and beverages company. So what kind of patterns that you see? So what do you mean by pattern? According to, give me any example. Okay, forget about F&B other things. What kind of pattern is it? The simple example, yes, as I explained you previously, there is a pattern that the classic example is people with some symptoms. Nipah virus. You heard about Nipah virus, right? It is spreading in Kerala state. So based on the symptoms, it's kind of a pattern, right? So the person with severe fatigue and nausea, and so with a specific pattern, so they make out it's kind of Nipah. Apart from this, they do some kind of blood test. Okay, based on which they decide what kind of disease is that. Based on the pattern, based on the symptoms kind of no pattern, right? The other, when it comes to the retail, you can see that the younger customers, they are the ones spending more on the, in terms of purchasing the products in your website. People below 45 or below 55, they are spending more money on your, especially the newly married people, especially the newly married and married people, they spend more money compared to the single and older people. The reason is obviously they have a lot of need. Married people, obviously, they need to buy furnitures to their new house. They bought, even whether they buy a new house or not, they have to have their own house, right? They need to have their own house. So in that case, let's say they rented a house. Obviously, they need to buy furnitures and kitchen utensils and all the things. So this is the pattern we can see. It's a common thing, right? A common pattern. So newly married people and married people, because married people already they have kids, and for the newly born kids, they have to buy kids related products, more products. These are the patterns. These are the examples for patterns. So irrespective of the volume of the data, when you visualize the data in the form of charts, it will help you to quickly gain an insight. With that insight, um, you can fine tune your strategy, right? You can fine tune your strategy, or you can come up with the right set of action plans. to deal with the situations. Okay, deal with any problems, or to deal with the dynamic market, or customer purchase behaviors. You can fine tune your strategy. Okay, to start with, what we'll do is we will explore how to plot the charts in basic charts in the using some packages in Python. Okay, for example, we have two packages are available. The commonly used package is Matplotlib, and we have something like Seaborn. These are the two popular packages that are available. Apart from this, we have Plotly, Plotly, Plotly. These are the packages are available. So what we will do is I'll just click on the drop down here, the new, and click on Python 3. It will open up a new script window. So a new notebook, empty notebook. So here we will start plotting the charts. We'll explore how to plot the charts. Local host it is correct only. I don't know why it's not. We need to wait for some time. One second. Let me just close and open it. The Jupyter notebook. I think something went wrong here. It's being opened. Let's wait for a few seconds. I'll let him finish it. Okay, now what I do is import NumPy. This is right. So I'm going to use NumPy as NP, and import pandas. Importantly, I'm going to use pandas package, using which you can ingest the data into a data frame. Okay, and now I just import the data visualization packages, matplotlib.pyplot as plt, and the next one is import. Yeah, 1 second, I'll explain. Import Seaborn, and yeah, this is enough. So these are the two data visualization. I just put it here. Okay, data visualization packages. Visualization packages. I'll put the comment, and this is your NumPy and Pandas packages. So I'm going to hit the run button. So it's being executed. You can see the star here, right? When you see the star here, that means it's being executed. Don't rush, but you can go ahead and continuously write the script in the next cell, but don't execute it. Wait for until this one gets completed. You need to wait. the star. Until the star gets disappeared, you have to wait. Can you all see the star? Look here, this is the one I meant. This is the star. Can you see star? That means it's being executed. We need to wait. But anyhow, I'm going to write, I'm going to continue writing my script here. So here I'm going to use plt.plot. So what is PLT here? So this PLT is nothing but the short form for this package. Okay. This is the sub module pyplot that is available as part of your package matplotlib. First of all, what is a package? Package is, the collection of collection of data sets and methods and functions. You can combine all your functions or methods into a single package, so that when you give the package to someone as an open source, or when you give it to someone, they should be able to use the functions or methods or data set, whatever you use it, they should be able to use it without doing heavy lifting. Okay. So if you have to create the chart without this package, is it possible? It is possible, but you need to write lines and lines of code. Instead, you can use the package that has been created already by someone else. Okay, and also these are the tried and tested packages, and so you can rely on it. 4,6, something like that, and comma. And the next one is 8, 10, 14. 1 second, I just made. Okay, and this is the thing that I'm going to use it. I'm going to hit the run button. Look here, we can see that the plot plt.plot. So what is PLT? PLT is an matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. See here what happens when it comes to 1 second here. See, when it comes to Python, right? So when it comes to Python, you need to prefix the function or method by the package name. Instead of PLT, if you type matplotlib.pyplot, it's a painful thing, right? You have to type a big thing. Instead, you can give some alias. Okay. So import numpy as np. We have already discussed about the numpy package. And also we discussed about, we are going to use the pandas package. I will discuss about pandas in detail little later. Don't worry. So the pandas is, is an extension of the numpy package. The reason why we are using pandas in addition to numpy is, with pandas you can perform SQL-like operations. You can join more than one data sets, like how you do it in SQL server, SQL queries, like left join, right join, left anti-join, right anti-join. You can do all kind of join with the pandas, like how you can do it with the SQL queries, right? So that is the reason why we are using pandas. And yeah, these two packages are meant for the data visualization packages. The next question is, yes, Raji, your question is then why we need Seaborn? Seaborn is also an extension of Matplotlib. So whatever the flip side, whatever the downside of the Matplotlib or limitations, right? What are the limitations of this one is to address that limitations, we can use Seaborn. Seaborn is also kind of an extension of your Matplotlib. Okay. Okay, your question is, do I have to use Matplotlib along with Seaborn? Not necessarily, but there are some cases, yes, we may have to use it. I will explain you, why we need to use these two. The advantages are manifold when you use this one along with Matplotlib, okay? And okay, so next thing is we will play around with this one. So here I'm going to say x-axis equal to, so here if you see the chart, what is the x-axis and what are the y-axis, what is the y-axis is, right? What is the title of the chart? We don't have it. We'll give some title for the x-axis, y-axis, and the chart title. so that it will be more meaningful, right? Here, what I'll do is so instead of this one, 3, 4, 6, and y is equivalent to let me say it's 8 comma 10 comma 14. We have used it above, right? Same thing I'm going to specify. I'm going to create a variable, right? X equal to, so it's a list, and here I just say plt dot plot. Instead of giving the values directly, I just say x comma y now. This time you just compare this one with this one. Okay, so here okay, now the question is, okay, now the x-axis, this is your x-axis. You have, instead of giving the values directly here, this is x-axis and y-axis. Instead of giving the value directly here, we have used the two variables as x and y. And the next one is I'm going to give the title for this one, plt dot x label, plt dot x label. Here I'm going to give some, for example, this is age, x label. Okay, x-axis, I'm going to give some title. And similarly, PLT, what is the PLT? PLT is the short form for our matplotlib.pyplot. Okay, and here Y label. And here what I am going to do is I'm going to use income. We'll put something like that. In x-axis, y-axis also we have given the title. And the next one is the overall plot, the chart title, PLT dot title. And here I just say income by age. Okay, and yeah, that's it. I'm going to hit the run button. Now we can see the title for the chart. We can see the title for the chart, and then we have given the title for the x-axis, and we have given the title for the y-axis. Okay, do I need to learn Power BI? This is a question from Raji. Do I need to learn Power BI, or Power BI just drag and drop here? Do I need to type it? Yes, in Python, you have to type it like this to use to create a chart. And Power BI, though they say, Microsoft says it's free and open source, still, if you want to publish it on cloud, everything, you need a license, right? You need to buy the license. Okay. Anyhow, we will discuss that later point in time. So what, as part of data exploration, see, it's something like this. Before you start building the machine learning model, you need to explore the data. Why do we need to explore the data? To understand the patterns, trends, or outliers in case of any data related issues. Before you build your model, you can address it. It's something like before you start cooking your favorite dish, make sure that whatever the ingredients you have bought it, or in the, you have purchased all the necessary ingredients, and then you mixed all the ingredients, the necessary ingredients in the proper ratio. And then only you are good. I mean, before you mix the ingredients, make sure that the quality of the ingredients are good, right? Similarly, when it comes to the data, before you start use it, make sure that the quality of the data is good. In case you find any outlier or something like that, outlier is not necessarily all the outliers are invalid, or it's useless thing. It is maybe right, some in my business I could see some kind of outlier. Suddenly there is a peak in my sales. Okay, outlier. That doesn't mean it is a wrong data. But according to the machine learning algorithms, in your data set, if you have the outliers, the model will not give you the accurate result. It will not give you the accurate predicted output. Hence, what you need to do is to comply with machine learning models algorithms, we need to address the outliers. Okay. Univariate, for example, what we do is, as part of the data set, the data analysis, first thing is we understand the insights. So, but before we understand the insights, everything, we will explore each and every variable. For example, you have a numerical column like income by age, right? Age is maybe as a categorical value. So one categorical value, one numerical value. You have one categorical, one numerical value, right? So in that case, you need to perform you need to perform univariate analysis. So in this case, in this case, we have one text and one numerical value, the previous chart. So now what we do is we will do some kind of univariate analysis. As the name suggests, we will analyze a single variable. For example, I have something like 5, 15, and what other values we can use? 20, and can we use 18 and 12, and 8, comma 5, and here bin. So we are going to define the bin for the histogram. We already discussed about the bin and all as part of descriptive statistics. 20, comma 30, and the next one is we have something called plt dot hist. There is a histogram hist function that is available as part of the plt. What is plt? Plt is nothing but matplotlib.pyplot. And here I'm going to specify the first argument as the numerical variable income in this case. And then the second one is bin. The second argument is going to be bin. Now I'm going to hit the run button. What it does is it will create a histogram. So with histogram, what can we do? How many of all of you please type it in the chat window? What is the purpose of using the histogram? How many of you remember this? What is the purpose of creating a histogram? What can we understand this from histogram? Hello, hello. What is the purpose of seeing? See, it's okay. See, attending the session regularly, fine, right? But in case of break, that is an opportunity for you to prepare and revise. It is not that somebody is some in case of any break doesn't mean I'm not going to revise all the topics, right? That is the opportunity for you to revise. Keep everything in fingertip. Tell me why we need to use histogram. What is the purpose of histogram? Histogram, we can plot a single variable. Guys, if you don't respond, that you are not putting your effort, right? Simply you are interested in joining the class. That's all. Okay, so here the income variable, I used it, and here this is only one variable, right? Single variable, the univariate variable. Univariate, as the name suggests, the income, not you, Prime. I'm talking about other participants. Okay, so income is a numerical variable. Single variable, we plotted it. In histogram, you can plot a single variable, the numerical variable, continuous variable or numerical variable only. You can plot it in your the histogram. Please remember this, okay? And then the bin is 5, 10, 20, 30, 50, right? So this is the bucket, the interval 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 20, 20. So we can see that 5 to 10, almost 3 is there, and 10 to 15, and then up to this 3 intervals, the bar shows the same height, but when it comes here, it goes down. So with the histogram, we can understand the distribution of the data. Yes, Prem, you are correct. You can understand this. So distribution of the data. Fine. So this is a numerical variable or continuous variable income. So we can see that this is the pattern, right? So it's kind of a right skewed. Okay. What are the other things you can? So what I will do is I'm going to use a data set called okay, let me see if the data set is. So now I'm going to use a package PD. What is PD? PD is nothing but the pandas package. Look here, I've used the pandas package, right? The pandas package. The second line pandas. The alias for that one is PD. Okay. Always we'll use the short name or the alias PD. Okay. Your question is why PD? Why can't it be some other name? That is a popular or that is the most widely used alias name by most of the developers. That is the reason we are using PD. You can use any other name, okay? Read underscore CSV. And here I know that one. And in this one, we have something called retail marketing 9june.csv file. This is the CSV comma separated value file is there. And separated equal to comma. This is a comma separated value file, and I'm going to, so here, this line, what it does is, as part of this, so we have a package pandas. The alias for the package pandas, we have given it as pd dot read underscore csv. This is the method that is, or the function that is available as part of your the pandas package. So here, inside of this function or method, you need to specify the file name which you want to read it, and and then you need to specify whether it's a comma separated value file or something like that. For that, there is an option called sep equal to comma. And next one is the, okay, now what happens, the entire data will get loaded into a variable called market mkt. So once the data, entire CSV file data gets loaded into variable, that is called your data frame. Okay, because here you have used the pd dot read CSV. So what happens is, when you read it and then assign it a variable, that variable will become pandas data frame. To view the content of the file, so now you need to use mkt, right? Mkt contains the the data set values in it. So I'm going to use head function. So here I'm going to say head of file. Display top five records from this file. Now I'm going to hit the run button. We'll see whether this file is there or not. No, this file is not there. Okay. Yeah, this is something like, I believe it is a 29 June. The file name, something wrong with the file name. So all these data sets are available in our website. Okay, look here. Yeah, this is the data set. So now it displays the top five records, head of five, right? Which means top five records. If you want to see the last five records, here I just put the comment followed by your top five records from your data set, from your data frame. And or if you want to view the last five records, tail 5. So why 5? You can use whatever the number that you wanted. So first of all, why do we need to use head and tail, or head or tail? Why should I use it? It is always recommended in the real world scenario. Don't give MKT alone. If you give MKT, it will display the entire data that is available in this file. They say the data, whatever the data given to you is too huge, 25 million or 50 million records. Unnecessarily, it will, display all the records. It's a time consuming thing. To explore the data at a high level, all you need to just, view the top 100 records in the case of huge volume of data, bottom 100 records, and see whether all the columns in the 100 records have data in it. For example, in this case, how many columns we have? 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 columns are there. All the 12 columns have values in it. We don't see any blank values. 0 is not considered as a blank, isn't it? This is not a blank value. Good that the data seems to be good. Now I just want to check only the data column names alone. Is it possible for me to, instead of displaying the data like this, is it possible for me to view the column names alone? Yes. So your data frame name is mkt dot columns, and if you hit the run button, it gives you everything. And also, if you want to see the data type, mkt dot d types. So this one will give you the data type for each columns. Look here, customer is in the integers data type, and gender, salary, children. Okay, all these things are good. What is the next step? Here we can see that amount spent. Amount spent is the float data type. So what I am going to do is, now we will use the histogram. We will do the univariate analysis. As the name suggests, we are going to use a single variable, because in the histogram you can use only one variable. That too, you can use only the numerical variable. Okay, and comma bin equal to, let's say, I'm going to say the bins equal to 10. Okay. So in this case, you cannot say directly like this, MKT. So which data frame this column is available, that you need to tell like this. The MKT data frame has amount spent column in it. Take that column and plot it in, with 10 different, bins. Okay. And I just hit the run button. Let us see what happens. Yes. You can see that 0 to 1000, 1000 to 2000, 3000 and 5000. Okay, this is what we can see here. Okay, so now we can understand that the amount spent by the customer, the distribution pattern is the right skewed. Okay, majority of the customers, they spend anywhere between, so this one, right, 0 to 100 or something like that, right? $100. And majority of the customers, they can spend up to this one, or let's 60 customers. Let's say, the 60 is something like in terms of thousands, 60,000 customers, they spend $1,000, and 2,000 amount, this amount spent. Okay, 40,000 customers they spent, or sorry, not the 40,000, and 25 or 22,000 customers spent the amount to $2,000 in your shop in the, let's say, in the last 6 months or 5 months or 3 months data. So this is called univariate analysis. So as the name suggests, we are using a single variable to plot the data, the single continuous variable. For single continuous variable, you can use histogram. So the x-axis will show the in the x-axis, we are plotting the continuous variable. Y-axis will give you the, what is that y-axis? The interview question. The y-axis will give you the count, the number of occurrences. Okay. The y-axis in the histogram, y-axis will have the count in it. The x-axis is nothing but what of the continuous variable that you used it to plot the histogram. So now we have used a single numerical or continuous variable in histogram. What if I have more than one variable? Let's say I have one categorical variable and one quantitative variable. In this case, in the case of histogram, only the quantitative variable we used it. It is also called as a continuous variable or numeric variable, which one the amount spent or income and all. If I am, so this is called bivariate analysis. Usually we start with the univariate analysis for the continuous variable column or numerical variable column, and then we will proceed with conducting the bivariate analysis. As the name suggests, we are going to use two variables. The one variable will be like categorical, and other variable is going to be your quantitative variable. With the quantitative variable, this is called your bivariate analysis. I'm going to click on it here and to enable markdown, I'm going to hit the run button. And here, SNS dot box plot. We can use box plot. How many of you remember the box plot? What is box plot? So what kind of scenario we can use box plot? We discussed it. How many of you remember it? How many of you remember it? Box plot. So nobody reviews the topic, right? If I give the break, that's all. What is 5 number summary? What are the 5 number summary? All of you, please type it in the chat window quickly. What are the 5 number summary? Look here, invalid syntax, box plot, amount spent. Okay, here. Amount spent should have been given in the quote, single quote. Key error, amount spent. There is a mistake here. Look here, I did it intentionally here. In the case of Python, when you execute any command, okay, so in this case, we wanted to plot the own home in the x-axis. In the y-axis, we want to plot the first one is the x-axis, okay, second one is your y-axis. In the x-axis, own home and amount spent is there here. These are the two variables. Very good, Sriram. Okay. So these are the things. And if I execute this, I can see some error. But even for a small mistake, you will find a big, so many lines of thing will be there, the error. Okay. Don't panic that you made a big mistake. So you can see that key error, amount spent, key error. What do you mean by key error? That column is not there in your data set. So let us just move up and see whether we have the amount spent. Yes, we have the amount spent column, but there is no space exists between amount and spent. Hence, it got confused. It could not find a column with this name. Okay. The column names are case sensitive, and make sure that in case of any space in your single column name, you need to follow it strictly. Okay. I'm going to hit run now. And let's scroll and see. Yes, my box plot is ready. Like I said, in the x-axis, there is something called own home, right? This is the one. The first argument is your own home. And then the second one is your amount spent, right? Amount spent. So here the middle one, what is this middle line? Inside this, we can see the line. What is this line is all about in the box plot? I'm talking about this line. Yeah, we have seen the box plot in the array in the horizontal format. Now we are seeing the same box plot in the vertical, the orientation. Okay, I think you have some option here. One second. Orientation. You can also change the orientation. Okay, and comma orientation is equivalent to horizontal. I don't remember it. No, there is nothing called horizontal. Yeah, we have some option, but anyhow. So what is that middle line shows in the box plot? I'm talking about this line. What is this line? See, you just turn it in the 90 degree. Let's say if this line comes here and this one appears here, right? So what is this line is all about? This is your median, guys. This is the minimum, this is the maximum, this is your median, right? This is your Q1 and this is your Q3. Okay, even if they rotated, don't get confused. Okay, so here we started using the data set by the name of marketing. So, right, marketing data set. We are using a marketing data. The marketing data, we can see this many number of columns of the customer name, age of the customer, the gender. 1 is male, 0 is female, own home. So own home 0 means false, 1 is true. Right. So for example, the customer 246, he doesn't have own house, which means he lives in a rental house. Okay. And this guy also lives in a rental house. 0 means no. Okay. No own house. 1 means own house. Yes, this guy is owning a house. Okay. And married. Similarly, 0 means false. Unmarried. 1 is married. Okay. The close. Close, you have a column called close. This column, what it tells us is those customers flagged as 1, they're living close to my retail shop. Okay. Next one is salary. Each customer's salary and children. Whether they have children, how many number of, if they have children, how many number of children they have. Okay. 0 means they don't have children. It doesn't mean if a person is married, they should have kid, isn't it? So there are some cases they are married, but they don't have kid, even now. So that is what it shows. So if they have kid, that is what it shows. How many kids? 1, 3, 2, or something like that. previous customer. So what this column tells us is whether this customer has purchased the products from our shop previously. If it is yes, 1, otherwise 0. Okay, this is a binary value. The previous customer and close, married, own home, except the children column, rest of the categorical column, the previous customer and close, married, own home, binary values. Wherever you can see the binary values, these are all like your categorical variable. Okay, but children is not a binary categorical variable. This is kind of your ordinal variable, right? So here the order matters. So 1, 3, 3. Okay, this is kind of ordinal variable, but even the children column is also a categorical variable, but it is a nominal categorical variable. Okay, no, sorry, not nominal, ordinal categorical variable. The rest of them are the nominal variable. The salary is a continuous variable. Okay, previous spent, catalogs and amount spent. We can see here how many number of catalogs or the brochures we send to the customer. For example, let's say you purchase some products in our shop. So you know very well when you go to a mall, when you go to a retail shop, once you purchase the items, right, in the billing section, they'll ask you about your contact number. Why do they ask? In case of any billing related issues, they can call you. Listen, they charged you less or they charged you more or they charged you less than whatever the price was. So it's kind of, they can use it as reference. They can call you later point in time. The other important reason why they note down the number is in case of any new offer comes, any special offer comes, they will send it to you so that they keep the relationship with the customer throughout their life. So this will make the customers to think, hey, this shop, this shop is carrying me. Whenever any new offer comes, they're alerting me. One way it is good. So, let's say you want to buy some products, but you decide to buy somewhere else. But after seeing the offer, you can change your mindset, right? Hey, instead of buying there, we can go and buy it here because the cost is cheaper. So the whole objective of exploring this data, the marketing data, is to gain an insight. Okay, so to gain an insight, what kind of insight? To understand the customer's behavior, right? To understand the customer's behavior. Okay, understand the customer's behavior. What am I going to do? So I can fine tune my strategies, the campaign strategy. See here, the catalogs. What it does is what is this 24? I have sent 24 times the catalogs or the brochures to my customers. So when you send the catalogs, you will be able to understand their behavior also, right? The response. Let's say you are sending a brochure about or any flyers, the grocery related flyers. These are the or the vegetables, onion, tomato. These are the vegetables. We have 15% off, something like that. You are sending this to their WhatsApp number or somewhere, right? You are doing some campaign. You're running a camp that is called campaign. You are sending brochures through email or WhatsApp or SMS, or you take the printout and then you courier it to the customers, so that when they see it, they will definitely come back to your shop if they find it really worthwhile. Okay. So here, 24 catalogs, they have been sent to this customer, 246. And he spent this much amount. We need to understand, does catalog has any influence on the sales? So it doesn't mean if you send more catalog, the customer should buy more time. Again, it depends on their salary. There are various factors, whether salary has an influence on the amount spent by the customers in my shop, or whether the brochures which I send to the customers, does it have any influence on my sales? Basically, with this data, if you understand the potential customers, you can target only those customers. See, there are some customers who, no matter whatever announcement you do, whatever the offers you give, they never come back to you at all. The reason could be they are not, they cannot afford because they are low income group people. They cannot afford. Okay. That's one of the primary reason. Okay. Offer is good. Everything is good, but my income is only this much. I cannot go beyond. This is my budget, right? You are limited. There are some families, they are, limited with some budget, right? Again, we would need to understand what kind of customers are potential customers. Okay. So based on which we will fine tune our strategy, marketing strategy. So now that is what we are doing it. We started with exploring the data. As part of this journey, we have ingested the data into the data frame called market, and MKT dot head and tail gives us the top 5 records or top 10 records, top 5 bottom 5 records. Okay, top 5 records and bottom 5 records. If you want to see that, you can see it. Like I said, if you simply specify MKT and if you hit the run button, it will display the entire data, but don't do that mistake. Okay, if I want to view only the columns, yes. Why should I, view the columns? The reason is, in case you have any space or something, you may overlook at it, right? If you have multiple columns, you may overlook at it. Let's say you have 100 columns are there. You need to scroll towards the right side and all, right? So if you see it here, it will be at a glance, you can understand, okay, what the column amount spent, cool. So what are the data types? You understood? And the next step is you understood the data types, what are the columns that are available, and you have understood the data also. First, be familiar with this data also. Okay, simply don't display MKT dot head file. Simply skip. Go next step. First, understand the pattern here. Okay, try to understand the data. Okay, age is 56. Okay, age may be a factor, but this guy spent 1,355 and 38. Now the question is, does age has any influence on the amount spent? Obviously, the younger age group, teenagers, they cannot afford to spend too much. And again, the older people, right? So they can also, people above 55 or 60, they cannot afford to spend more because the income is less. They cannot earn anymore, right? So that, we will first understand the, patterns, everything. Look here, the amount spent. We conducted the first thing is we conducted the univariate analysis by using histogram. With the histogram, you can find out the distribution pattern, and we can see that the amount spent is a right skew. Okay, oddly few customers are spending 5,000, right? So sorry, 3,000, and the amount $3,000 to $5,000. The number of customers spent is very less. Total number of customers spent is less. Next one is bivariate analysis, categorical with quantitative variable. Here the categorical is own home. This column has 0 or 1. 0 tells, those customers do not have house. 1 tells the customers they have house. Okay, here, when you explore the data, what insight you can understand it here. When you explore this visual, what kind of, see here, if you see here, this is the median value. Here, the median value is somewhere here, right? If you see here, if you draw a line here, somewhere here, it's something like 1,200 or 1,300. This is the median salary. Sorry, this is the median amount spent by the customer. Okay. And here, this one is maybe 800 or 750. I did not, drag it exactly from the middle. Yeah, maybe it is 800 or something like that. Median amount spent is 800. By those do not own the house. So what is your general understanding about this issue? All of you, please type it in the chat window. Guys, once you get into a status call, the customer will rip you like anything. They'll ask you, tell me all the stories. Don't, ask me to tell each and everything. Okay. Don't expect me to tell, hey, please explain. You need to open your mouth, fat, you need to tell. So what kind of insight you are able to get it here? What kind of insight are you able to understand here? The median amount spent, the average, right, kind of average, the median amount spent by those people who own the house is more than the people, those do not own the house. you don't live in a, those people in the given data set, we could see that those people are owning the house, their amount spent is more compared to those do not own the house. That is what the insight we are able to get. In this case, the categorical variable and the numerical variable we use it, this is called your bivariate analysis. Okay. And also you can you can conduct the bivariate analysis with two quantitative variable also. It doesn't mean bivariate analysis involves the text and numeric column. You can have two numeric column also if you want to compare, or if you want to find out the correlation between the two numerical variables. You can conduct the bivariate analysis. I'm going to put the comment here, bivariate analysis. Bivariate analysis. Two quantitative variables. This time I'm going to use SNS. SNS stands for Seaborn scatter plot. Scatter plot chart, we can use it to find out the correlation between two quantitative variables. Here I'm going to find out the correlation between salary and amount spent. Does salary and amount spent, are these two variables are correlated? Amount spent. I'm going to hit the run button now. Here I did not put the end code. Okay, I need to put that and yeah. Okay, now yes, we can see a scatter plot. In this scatter plot, in the x-axis, I have plotted the salary. See, the first argument, most of the visuals, right? Histogram. Visual is nothing but chart. Okay, the histogram, scatter plot, or so the box plot. The first argument by default is the x-axis. The second one is your y-axis. Okay, and here we can see that as the salary increases, the amount spent also increases. The salary is or the amount spent by the customer is having a the amount spent by the customer is directly proportional to the salary. What do you mean by directly proportional to the salary? As the salary increases, as one variable increases, other variable also increases. This is called directly proportional. As the amount spent, as the salary increases, the amount spent also increases. Hence, the amount spent is directly proportional to the salary, which means there exists a correlation exists between these two numerical variable. Obviously, when you get more salary, you buy or you spend more, isn't it? Let's say your salary is monthly take home is 5 lakhs. You can afford to buy 8-seater vehicle with 40 lakhs or 50 lakhs, right? Or sorry, not 40 lakhs. Let's say you can buy 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs. And if you get more, obviously you can buy Porsche or the high-end vehicle, right? So that's what the pattern we can see it here. So if I draw a line here, this is kind of a straight line. You just think that, okay, sorry, I just draw it correctly. I don't have the stylus pen because I'm in a hotel now. Look here, this is the straight line. Okay, and here the salary and amount spent, most of the values, the observations are somewhat closer to this line. And we can see an upward trend here. But there are some outliers here. So these are called your outliers, right? These are some outliers. This is an outlier. Only one customer is spent more amount and his income is more here, right? So 120K. This is what the salary is getting it. or only one customer is spends more than $5,000 or so. But majority of them you see, right? Most of the values are clustered here and here. But overall, we can see an upward trend. As the salary increases, obviously the amount spent also increases. Hence, there exists a correlation exists between these two variables, the two numerical variables. So now you understood as per the bivariate analysis, you can you can plot, you can find out the correlation between two quantitative variables, and using box plot, you can plot the categorical as well as the quantitative variable. The interview they'll ask you, the bivariate analysis, can I use two quantitative variable? The histogram, can I use more than one quantitative variable or the continuous variable? No, right? Histogram, you can use only one quantitative variable. You cannot use more than one quantitative variable. Okay, that is what they expect you. And again, they'll ask you. So if I want to use the categorical along with the numerical, you can tell them box plot, you can use it. Okay. And next one is there any way can I find out the average? Is it possible to display the average value of the amount spent? Yes. MKT dot, so we can use the MKT amount spent, right? Amount spent. Okay, Raji's question is, do I need to use the column name along with the data frame name? Yes, MKT is a data frame name. So followed by that, you need to use a square bracket to slice the data. Inside the square bracket, you need to specify a column name within the quote. Either you can use a double quote, but when you use a double quote, start with double quote, end with double quote. Don't use the mix of both. Here you have double quote, here you have single quote, it will throw an error. Or you can use single quote. Start with single quote, end with single quote. So your data frame name and then the column name followed by that dot. Here I'm going to say the mean. I think we can use mean directly here. Yes, the average amount spent was 1,184. That's what we can see it here. Next one is what other things that we do it. So we did this analysis. With this we can understand the owners. They are having the capability to spend more compared to the people who are living in the rental house. Now I just go and explore some other combination of the columns, box plot. Here I'm going to say, okay, instead of typing it in the interest of time, I just go up here and then I copy the same thing, Control A, Control C. I scroll down and here I'm going to add another dimension here. Here something called U, HUE, and here I'm going to say gender. I want to extend my analysis. So here x-axis the same thing, y-axis same thing. And here, this is the U, okay? And here if I give a run here, if I hit the run, within this one, right? So give me those people are male and female. Okay, now see the one house, the owners, right? One is maybe they are male or female, whether the male owner or female owner. The blue colored one is the rental people, right? So how many number of people are living in a rental house? How many of the people? So how many of the males are living in a rental house? How many of the females are living? Look here. So here 0, 1 again in the owner. So the right side, these two, the one, right? It tells us these are the owners. But here itself, within this owner itself, there are two classes. One is the female, 0 is female, one is male. Okay. So compared to the owners, within that, we have did some kind of segmentation. Within the owner category, we could see that compared to female, the male median spend is more. So now we are able to narrow down further to understand whom to target, right? Whom to target. So what do you mean by whom to target? So you want to send the brochures, more brochures to these guys or this guy or this female, this guy, right? If you send more brochures or the catalogs, because these guys are spending more, right? If you send the catalogs to these people, what will happen? The catalogs or brochures, what will happen? They are less likely to buy, okay? But here, if you see here, the male owners, they are the one spending more. And compared to this, right? But within this, we can see that compared to male and female, the male spend is more in both the cases, whether a person is living in a rental house or own house, compared to the female, the males are spending more. But overall, we could see that males spend those people who own the house, important, especially the males, they are the ones spending more. But overall, we can understand that the owners are spending more compared to non-owners. That is what the insight we are able to get it. The next insight is something like we will, shift our focus and we will explore married people instead of gender. See, with the gender, we are able to segment the existing thing itself, right? Married. Okay, tell me whether the married married owners are spending more, unmarried. Obviously, the one is, look here, the legend. The one is the married, zero is unmarried. The owners category itself, there are some people, they are unmarried. There are people, they are married. Okay, the married people spend is, it is clearly coming out that the married people are spending more compared to the unmarried people. Whether it is married people. Look here, even in this case, the married people are, because the need is more. The family size is big, they are not single anymore. The family size is obviously, bigger, right? So the spend is more. But within this segmentation, we could see that the married people are spending, though the married people are spending more compared to the unmarried people, the married people with the house, those owning the house, their spend is more. Hence, if we target the married people with those owning the house, the chances are that they can buy more. If I send more brochures to these people, the chance. Hence, see, if you send the brochures to these people, they are more likely to spend more. Okay, what is the big deal about it? Okay, spend, okay. In that case, you don't have to send the brochures to all the people. You don't have to send it all the people, right? So it is an expensive waste of time. You need to hire more number of people, send the brochures to all the customers blindly. Listen, you have 25 million customers are there. Blindly, if you send the brochures, even in the form of SMS or WhatsApp, bulk or WhatsApp message, SMS, it's a time-consuming process, and you need to hire more number of people. Instead, what it is, identify those people are more likely to buy, potential customers. If you target only them, that is more than sufficient. For example, here I'm going to check the children now. Okay, children, and the amount spent here. Yeah, we got more insight now here, right? So zero is, they do not have kids. The owners do not have kids. And with that, we are getting another interesting insight. Those do not have kids, their average spend or the median spend is more compared to those have kids. Because they don't have kids. If they own the house, right, they spend more. Those have kids, they cannot spend more in my retail shop because they need to spend money on other category also, right? Other segment also. For example, school fees, tuition fees, and college fees, or and then uniform, stationaries. They need to spend more money on other aspect also. They cannot spend more on the grocery store itself. So now we are getting different insight. Those do not have kids. Can we combine and say that? So married people, those do not have kids, are more likely to spend. So can we do that? Again, we need to explore that one, right? So what I do is I just go and change this thing here. Married, we will put here. So 0 kids means, maybe they are bachelor also, right? Yes, you are correct. Here I am going to use children. This one will give answer to this question, right? So we can see that, 1 is married people, 0 is unmarried people. Even the case of unmarried people, so here, right, so we have different categories, 1, 2, 3 and all is there. So not necessarily a person is single, they are not supposed to have kids. So nowadays the living together culture is, we can see the culture, right, the living together. So in that case, they may have kids, but they are not married, but still they have kids. You just think that way, okay? But there are some outliers, we can see that. And here also we can see some kind of, so those dots which you see it just above the, this line, right? The maximum line. These are called your outliers. Look at this is an outlier. So these are outlier because these are all, this is the maximum value. This is the maximum value. Just anything above the maximum is your outlier. So with the box plot, quickly you can find out you have any outlier in your data set. Yes, in this category we can see that. So married people, if you see, those do not have kids, their spend is more. Like what we speculated a while back, that is what we can see it now, right? That is the reality now. Married people, those do not have kids, their spend is more. So it doesn't mean they don't have kids, right? So they don't have to spend too much, right? So though they do not have kids, but still, they are husband and wife, the couples, they are couples. They want to buy, more because they are newly married. They need to buy more things in our. Let's assume that this data set is related to um, yeah, it's a hypermarket. Hypermarket, right? Hypermarket is something like it is bigger than your supermarket. You can get everything, pharmacy, you can get medicines of pharma related products. You can buy apparels, the clothes, and you can buy everything. This they will have it in it. So in this case, we can see that those do not have kids. They are married people. They are the one more likely to spend more. Okay. The Raji's question is those do not have kid. They are single already. 0 is single. Then how come you say 1, 2, 3 kids? That's what I said, Raji. It's living together, right? So currently we are in the generation of living together and all. They are not married, but they are living together, right? So there could be chances they have kids. So the single kid, 2 kid, and 3 kid. So those have more kids. There is an additional insight. Those have more kids. The spend is very less. And the same pattern we can see it, but here the 2 kids, right? Those have 2 kids, and those have 3. The spend is very less. Median spend is less. Median spend is less. Obviously, they have various other commitments. They have more number of kids. So now we explored so far the histogram and box plot, scatter plot also. The next one is we will use something called strip plot, strip plot, strip plot. And here I'm going to use the same thing, MKT and own home. and I'm going to use hue. So what is hue here? So okay, your to answer to your question, Raji, we can it's kind of breakdown, right? You want to see the breakdown of salary by those people who own the house, those do not own the house. Within that, if you want to get an additional breakdown, right, you can use hue. With hue, you can include an additional dimension. See, the own home is a dimension. Salary we cannot say it's a dimension, it's a continuous variable. The single dimension own home, we used it. In addition to that, if you want to use another dimension, you can use gender, right? So sorry, the hue, you can use hue. Okay, what is so big deal about the strip plot? The strip plot, if you notice here, what is your understanding here? The strip plot. Here we can see that those do not have the house is 0, those own the house is 1, the same thing. But in the x-axis salary, we are analyzing salary now. And when you see here, most of the values, the density, you can see the density is more here, the orange color, right? Orange color, the gender male. Their salary is anywhere between 42,000 to 82, almost, 80,000. Majority of the males average salary, sorry, the males salaries, falling in this range, almost 42,000 to 80,000. And females also we can see it, but here, it is not so dense. As we move up further, here also we can see the more males compared to the female. Only 2 dots are there. So 100,000 salary drawn by majority of the males compared to the females. So here with the dots, we can make out the density where the observations are concentrated more. With that, we can gain a much better insight than the previous charts, isn't it? So we can see that, see here, majority, see here, oddly few males, they are owning the house, they are, getting salary in 20,000. And, but most of them are, males, 42 to, but females, if you see here, right? So, they are getting 20,000 and 40,000 also, less than 40,000 also, they are getting it. But oddly few people are getting salary less than 40,000. Males, I'm talking about male. Major of the male salaries are falling anywhere here. And here also we can see that the concentration is more. So most of the male salaries are more compared to the females. But there are females still, they are getting this one. But with the concentration itself, we can understand the part, with this we can understand the distribution very clearly, right? Within that breakdown of the salary, the gender by own home, we are getting much better insight when it comes to the distribution. And we have something else called jitter. There is an option called jitter in the strip plot itself. By default, the jitter is false. Here I'm going to say jitter equal to true. So the jitter and the plain strip plot, if you compare it, what kind of insight you are getting it? In this case, not much difference, right? Jitter is equivalent to true, not much difference, almost similar pattern we can see it here. But here, it gives you much better clarity, right? If you see this one, those who own the house, sorry, the rental house, those live in the rental house, the males, compared to the males, the females concentration is more here, right? The female, but here it will be cluttered, little bit cluttered, whereas it is, pretty clear. And here also it is pretty clear. Look here at least, little bit, you'll get confused, but here it is pretty clear. The, blue dots are more compared to the orange dots. With this, you can quickly make out, compared to females, males salaries are, ranging between almost 40,000 and above. Only the females, majority of the females salary are falling below 40,000, right? So the jitter gives much better insight than the plain strip plot. Even jitter is an option that is available as part of strip plot itself. But still, with that, we are able to get additional insight. Apart from this, we have something else called the swarm plot and all. Swarm plot. I just copy it here. In that we don't have jitter and all. This option is not available. Instead of exploring each and every visual separately, we started with a simple case study. What is the case study? The case study is we want to understand, let's say you are a marketing manager, you want to understand which target, which customers you need to target. Okay, potential customers. Here, the own, home, and the salary, gender. Okay, I just hit the run button. And yes, now it is correct. The same thing we can see. This is another type of chart. It is up to you, okay? But this one gives me much, much better clarity than this, right? So you can see that clearly the male distribution, it shows very clearly. Very basic question, where does Python holds the data as source for visualization? I might be missing your class about where does Python holds the data as source for visualization? See here, look here, I have used the pandas data frame, right? Look here, this is the data set. This is the data set. This data is available in laptop, okay, the joan.csv. And using pandas, PD is nothing but pandas. The alias for the pandas is PD. PD.read.csv. We have read this file data and stored it in a data frame called MKT. Okay, got it? Yes. So we are using the data visualization packages, SNS as well as matplot, along with the data frame, the pandas data frame. Okay. That is the reason why we are using pandas also. Okay. Yeah, you can use any source data. So in this case, I've used the CSV file. You can use Excel file and you can use XML, whatever the type of the file you have, you can use it. But for that, you need to use different thing. For example, read underscore text, read underscore Excel is also there. Different file, different functions, but it's all available as part of the pandas itself. Okay. But SAM plot, is far better than the strip plot with jitter option itself. Right. Again, you need to decide. It is always good explore with different charts as long as the management, what they expect from you is more insights. With that insights, how you can help the management to fine tune or optimize their spend or optimize their warehouse cost, supply chain cost, and so on. Okay. Next one is the commonly used visualization function, count plot. Here's something called count plot. And for example, here I am going to use catalogs. This is my column name. And you need to specify the data, right? So this column available in which data set? MKT. So don't ask me, hey, in here, if I give MKT catalogs, won't it work? So for this function count plot, you need to give it this way. I'm going to hit the run button. You can see that. Look here. When compared to the number of catalogs that we sent, the catalog 18 times we sent is more. Right? The number of times. So let's say your management wants to know, hey, can you tell me which number of catalogs that you sent it most of the 18 catalogs we sent it most of the time. Next one is the 12 catalogs we sent it. The second most of the time we sent this one. The least one is 6 catalogs. This is count plot. Count plot can also, you can use it to find out the counts, how many number of times the customers purchased, all the things you can see there. Okay. And also the next one is, yes, you can use the same thing here. The hue, what else we can do here? We can explore it with the another categorical variable called catalogs. When I use the count plot in the catalogs, here the catalogs also you can use it here, the amount spent. So with this, what we can understand, this gives me a better insight, right? With respect to the catalogs. When you send 6 catalogs, the amount spent is less. And what is the green one is 18 and the maroon color is 24. That means more the catalogs when we send to the house owners, irrespective of the the owners, right? They spend more the catalogs if you send it. Obviously, the customers are spending more. This is another interesting insight. And again, you need to decide whom to target. So can I send the brochures to those customers falling in this and this one alone, or can I send it only this one? If you have it all depends on your affordability. Okay, let's say your 24 catalogs you sent to whom, this set of customers, let's say think that way. Okay, this set of customers you sent 24 catalogs, hence the amount spent is also more. And here also the same thing. In this case, can I send more catalogs? Does sending more catalogs has any influence on the amount spent? Yes, you can see that. If I send 18 catalogs, but the pattern, if you see here, as the number of catalogs increases, the amount spent also increases. That is what in the pattern we can see it here. Look here, right? This is very interesting insight. This is what they will they expect you to do the analysis in the 360-degree. And the next one is we have something called factor plot. I just show you some, I just AFP. I think I used it long back. Let me give it a try. And here catalogs in the x-axis catalogs and in the y-axis and amount spent. Yeah, you see, in the real world scenario, you will have more number of variables, Raji. For example, catalogs. The catalogs are not catalogs, the coupons. Okay. Whether the customers are really redeeming all the coupons. For example, you go and buy a t-shirt. What they do is, sir, if you buy amount worth 3,000, you are eligible for 1,000 rupees coupon, which you can redeem it in the next month we have festival. That time you can redeem it, right? But you need to redeem it just before. So they said they mentioned some cutoff date, but you cannot use it as soon as you get the coupon from them, right? So what you do is in that case, within that specific duration, whether the customers are really redeeming the coupon or not. If they are redeeming it, how many number of customers redeeming it? Which means, right, obviously you're going to lose the money. You have to give some offers, discount. If they use it, if they redeem it, how much money they redeem it. That is the next thing. Okay. The x-axis, the catalogs, amount spent, and next one is hue. We'll use the hue to get the further breakdown home. And then here I'm going to say equal to kind. What kind of chart? Swarm. We can say swarm. I don't know whether the syntax is correct. I just press enter. No, there is an error here. So could not interpret input catalogs. Okay, there is it's catalogs, right? Yeah, M catalogs. I don't know whether this one is factor plot function has been renamed to cat plot. Look here. Can you see that? This is the one we used in the past. In case of any error, don't panic. You just see the warning message. The cat can't, okay. So I don't know whether the cat plot also follow the same syntax. We'll give it a try. Otherwise, we'll check and let you know. Okay, what the syntax could not interpret input catalogs. Okay, and here what you do is, for example, you are not able to find out the syntax for the specific thing, cat plot, and then what you do is shift and tab. I think, yeah, you need to press shift and tab simultaneously, followed by the open parenthesis. Okay, and then you just you can click on the plus sign to expand x equal to none, y equal to none, hue equal to none, data equal to none. And if you scroll down, they would have given some example. Let's see if they've given any example. If they don't give it, we have to do Googling. Okay. Yeah, they've given some x equal to live, column equal to deck. Yeah, the data equal to 10, x axis, and the column equal to deck, column wrap equal to 4, kind equal to count, height equal to, okay, alive. It was not able to recognize the catalog column. Okay, here I should have mentioned the data set, right? Which data these columns are available. That is the mistake I made it. Marketing. Column names fine. These columns belong to which data set? MKT is a data frame, isn't it? Amount spent could not. Okay, amount spent. We are not supposed to leave the space. I made the same mistake again. Let's see if this works fine. Yeah, it is working fine, but there are some no len type error. Okay, data type error. You can ignore this. So this is got, this one gives me something like this. Actually, the factor plot, what it gives you, for example, you have the own house and rental house. Own house, it will put a separate chart, and rental house related data, it will put it in a separate thing. Okay. And in each category, rental and own house, you can see the catalogs against the amount spent. Okay. Separately, it will display, that's all. So that the all the blues are in a single thing, all the yellows are in other thing. That's all. Okay. That is what you can display it as per a factor plot. Probably I'll explore the cat plot. Even for me, this is the new one. They made changes to it. And apart from this, we have something called distribution plot. Dist plot. And here mkd dot amount spent, comma, I'm going to use KD, kernel density estimation. I'm going to say true. Okay, I'm not going to use KD now. I'll just display. There is a function called dist plot that is available as SNS, Seaborn, column name. So univariate analysis, we perform the amount spent. It's a case sensitive. Column names are case sensitive. Look here, it gives me the same. So what is the difference between histogram and dist plot? Even with the distribution plot, you can plot the histogram, okay, histogram. But along with that histogram, you can see this, the bell curve. What I will do is I will just use the, you have an argument like KD equal to true. I think by default it is false. So let us check that one. No, by default it is true only. We don't have to give it explicitly true. And if you see here, along with the histogram, it gives me the curve also, right? Curve. With that curve, you can get the exact thing. See, the difference between histogram and distribution plot is, it is not only giving the, the histogram. See, in the case of histogram, it plots the data based on the interval, right? In case of any negative values, it is not taking into account. It's a very small value, right? But with the histogram, the combination histogram as well as the bell curve, which is nothing but kernel density estimation, okay, KDE plot. It is also called a KDE plot. With the combination of histogram and KDE, we are able to get much granular information about the distribution. The distribution not starts only here, it starts from here. There are some negative values are also there. Okay, that is what we can, this plot, okay. And what else? I think we are done with almost all the popular tools that we use it, okay. Yeah, we have importantly the correlation, okay. We have something called correlation function. For example, I'm going to use a variable called core, and mkd dot core function you can give directly followed by the data frame name. If you give the function dot core, there is a CORR function available in Python. I'm going to plot this correlation. See, this one will give you the correlation between the numerical variables. Okay. That value will get stored in core. Now I'm going to use the heat map. This is the one interview question. The interview they'll ask you, how do you find out the correlation between the variables within your data set? You can tell them there is a function called core CORR function. What I will do is followed by the data frame name. I specify the core function and store the value in a variable. That variable I use it in a heat map visual to plot it, okay, to get the better understanding. The core, and here let's on core, okay. I just use core. Let's see what happens. Correlation. Look here, here we can see the correlation. Don't look, if you see the diagonal here, that means you are, the diagonal values, right? The diamond kind of thing, right? These diagonal values represents the correlation amongst the same variable, or within the variable. Customer and customer, it's always one, right? The on the right side, if you see the spectrum here, the value starting from negative 0.2 to minus 1.0, something like that, right? So here the minus 1.0 plus 1.0, okay, anything above 0 is plus 2. See, the any value that is closer to 1, that means there is a strong relationship exists between the variable, okay. And if you, for example, if you see here, if you see this one, right, the children and children, if you compare the same variable, it will be 1, right? So it will be somewhat close, same. It is not the correct thing. For example, you want to find out the correlation between amount spent and the salary. If you see here, the amount spent is there and the salary is, what color is this? Somewhat here, right? It is somewhat matching with this one, somewhat this one. So somewhat 0.7 or 0.8. That means the correlation between amount spent and salary is somewhat closer to 0.8, or which is somewhat closer to 0.1. Anything which is closer to 1, that means there is a strong relationship exists between these two. That is what we have seen it in the scatter plot also. As this variable, as the salary increases, the amount spent also increases. Obviously, when you get very high salary, you think you buy a hatchback car, obviously you will buy a high-end vehicle, right? You will spend more. That is the point. So there exists a correlation. This is how we can find out the correlation. But don't tell me children and customer. This, let's take the same thing. Salary and children. This doesn't make any sense because it's a categorical variable. You cannot find out the correlation between categorical and numerical variable. Okay. So in that kind of situation, it is not helpful. So make sure that you are using all the continuous variable, not the categorical column. Okay, don't mix up everything. Just for you to get the. So usually what we do is we'll just simply put this one. We know very well which one is the numerical variable, right? So the continuous variable, salary and amount spent. Okay, fine. What they so in this case we have amounts. This is the one the numerical thing, right? That is enough. And we have something else called violin plot, and violin plot and group by function is we have something called phasor grid. That is a very interesting one. I have used phasor grid in the past project. Let me see if that is available. Phasor grid. Press tab. It is not displaying it. Passive grid. Here what I do is MKT. Here I just say G dot, sorry, the year S dot map. And I'm going to say SNS dot bar plot. So these packages are really helpful. Yeah, here I orient. So here the V is available. Orient. Let me check whether it is working fine. Okay, there is a as no attribute faced. Okay, sorry, there is a typo here. I said grid. Yeah, great. It is still there. They did not change it. Okay, you can see that breakdown of each and every group, right? The catalog, 6 catalogs we sent, and some customers sent 12, 18, 24. So here we can see that it's a vertical, right? It's kind of a vertical thing. And we can see the median amount spent or something like that. Okay, so here 500. And when you see here, the distribution is more, right? So between 0 to almost 1,500 or almost to closer, yeah, 1,800 dollar they spent. But if you see lesser the catalogs you spend, the spread is less here. So as the number of catalogs increases, the spend is also more. In a single visual, we can get the breakdown of the amount spent by various groups of catalogs. Here, groups in the sense 6 catalogs is a one group and 12 catalogs. There are some set of customers we sent only 6 catalogs. There are some customers we sent 12 catalogs. But there are some customers sent 18. There are some customers sent 24. So of these, groups or set of catalogs, in which set of catalogs, and we could see the more amount spent. Obviously, when you send more catalogs, 18 catalogs, 24 catalogs, the spread is more. Means the spend is more. So what do we conclude now? What is our understanding? So what are the insights we were able to get it here? So one insight is as we send more catalogs, the spend is more. Okay, fine. And also we have understood those who own the house, married people with 0 kids, their spend is more. And also in addition to that, number of catalogs also matters. So you target only those married customers, and again, married male customers do not have kids. And for those people we sent more catalogs. They are the one more likely to spend more, right? That is what the insight we are able to get it. There is some kind of conflicting message. Let me see how many of you think. I'll give you some time, think about it, and then we will discuss it in the upcoming weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. So with this, I'm going to wrap up the data visualization part as part of the. But anyhow, we have some other charts when we look at the model, machine learning model. That time we will look at it. So this upcoming Saturday, we will explore the Pandas package in detail. And then this Sunday itself, we'll start the machine learning part. Okay. So, and most likely by end of October, we'll complete all the machine learning algorithms. And November month, 15th, middle or so, we'll complete the computer vision and all. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Prem wants to know how to install the Python local machine. Prem, what you do is you can go to Google and type. I'll just type it here. Download Anaconda Python. 1 second. Download. Type something. Download Anaconda Python. And then you click on the link. And then once you click on the link in the search result, right? You will find the Anaconda latest version in that website. You can go ahead and download and install it. Windows, Anaconda, Windows for Python. Those of you use Mac, It is little bit different, okay? And I believe all of you are using Windows, right? Not Mac, not Mac operating system. Good. Fine. With this, I'm going to wrap up. You have any questions? Anyhow, I'll share the video, Pray. You can watch the video to install it, okay? Yeah, sorry, I thought of sending it earlier because of travel, unplanned travel.